From my Ziff Davis /PC Magazine reporting days. Coalition sounds off on net neutrality legislation. Article date April 24th, 2006, written by me, Barry Alyssa Johnson. Vint Cerf, so-called father of the internet, is among the big names and organizations that have come together to create the SaveTheInternet.com coalition, which hosted a national conference call today. Other members of the coalition include Gun Owners of America, Craigslist.com, Public Knowledge, MoveOn.org, the American Library Association, Afro-Netizen.com, the Consumer Federation of America, the Consumers Union, and Free Press. Today's conference call is one of the coalition's many campaign tactics to emphasize the importance of net neutrality, the concept of a free and open internet. Quote, "The fight for internet freedom is now being waged in earnest," said Tim Carr, campaign director for Free Press. "On one side you have the public, and on the other side, the nation's largest phone and cable companies looking to strip the net of neutrality." End quote. The quote-unquote fight that Carr refers to, and the purpose of the campaign, is to address what equates to a congressional rewrite of the 1996 Telecommunications Act in a bid to update it to include internet-related activities. Quote, "The last decade of internet revolution has been marked by innovation, which was the consequence of the open and neutral access that the internet has afforded until now," said Cerf, who serves as the chief internet evangelist at Google during the conference call. Proposals coming from telcos and the cable companies, as exemplified in some of their legislation, destroys that neutrality, end quote. The updated bill, dubbed Communications Opportunity Promotion and Enhancements Act of 2006, is sponsored by Representative and House Commerce Chairman Joe Barton, Republican, Texas, Representative and Chairman of Telecommunications and Internet Subcommittee Fred Upton, Republican, Michigan, Representative Charles Pickering, Representative, Mississippi, and Representative Bobby Rush, Democrat, Illinois. The bill is focused on video franchise reform and was first introduced to Congress in late March 2006. It would, among other things, grant telcos and cable operators automatically renewing national franchises to deliver video services over the internet, and would grant the FCC authority over net neutrality-related issues. The CEA and U.S. Telecom are among a number of groups showing public support for the bill. On the opposing side, the coalition is concerned over the lack of protections for network neutrality. The bill includes policies related to internet freedom. Quote, "However, those policies are subject to the whims of future administrations. What we need is established network neutrality," said Gigi Sohn, president of Public Knowledge, during the conference call. The coalition is not alone in voicing such concerns, as evident by a statement issued jointly by Amazon, Google, eBay, Interactive Corp, Microsoft, and I already wrote Google, at a Senate hearing. Quote, "We are extremely concerned that legislation before your committee would fail to protect the internet from discrimination and would deny consumers unfettered access to the tremendous scope of content, applications, and services that are available today on the internet and will be deployed in the future," they said. The proposals being heard this week on Capitol Hill as part of the new telecommunications policy come mainly from telcos and cable companies, according to some coalition members. The legislation, quote, as it reads today, end quote, would not give content providers equal access to consumers on the other end of the network. Quote, whenever you see groups on the far left and the far right joining together over what Congress is getting ready to do, it's my experience that whatever Congress is getting ready to do is generally unconstitutional, said Craig Fields, Director of Internet Operations for Gun Owners of America. The coalition is looking to achieve a quote-unquote simple principle that disallows network providers from discriminating against smaller, independent companies and favoring the content they own or are financially vested in. Quote, the telcos want to create a functionality or service and selectively make it available to the people they favor, which keeps competitors from having access, said Mark Cooper, Director of Research at the Consumer Federation of America during the call. Presence by gatekeepers drives out innovation, and restrictions on use of functionality raises prices, end quote. The coalition wants to avoid such practices by encouraging Congress to refrain from, quote-unquote, selling out internet freedom to big phone and cable companies. The coalition is asking the Senate to include in the updated telecommunications bill anti-discrimination measures, prohibition against tiering schemes, and strong federal enforcement of these laws. Quote, this is legislation that's being rushed through Congress on the wings of large cable and telephone companies, Carr said. Our effort is to raise public awareness with Americans across the spectrum, close parentheses. In various bids to raise public awareness, the coalition and its members are interacting with the House of Representatives, particularly members of the Energy and Commerce Committee, who will mark up the bill later this week. The coalition is asking people to send letters to local newspapers to bring the issue out into the public eye, and has also organized a team of bloggers to bring the issue to the online community. Quote, we're also organizing a rally that will take place on Capitol Hill to make all members of Congress aware that the public voice cannot be ignored, Carr said. The amount of money spent on the Hill to influence by telecom companies needs to be countered by the volumes of Americans concerned with internet freedoms, end quote.